Hello, everyone, and welcome to Life at the Beach, a talk show about living on campus at Cal State University, Long Beach. I'm your host, Jefferson Denham, and tonight, folks, you are in for a treat. Dare I say. We're going to be diving into an up-close look at one of Cal State Long Beach's dorms, but first, we have two Cal State Long Beach graduate students with us to discuss their respective journeys living and working in Cal State Long Beach's housing and residential life. So please join me in welcoming residential coordinators Brianna Guzman and Timothy Ibrahim. So Brianna and Timothy, thank you so much for being here this evening. You guys doing all right?
Yeah, doing very well. Thanks for asking.
I'm nervous though. Who's watching the store while you're with me? Is it like chaos at the dorm? All right, well, I'll tell you what. Let's get started by me asking your stories so we can get to know you. And I'll just kind of, since I got both of you, I'll just kind of pick one at a time. So, Brianna, tell us about yourself.
Well, my name is Brianna. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. I'm a graduate student. I am a Scorpio, and I love roller skating. Such little fun facts about myself.
Oh, okay. Timothy, Brianna threw it down. What are you bringing to the table?
Well, Timothy is my name. I am not a Scorpio. I am a Libra. And I think, oh my goodness, something fun that I do. I would say probably video gaming, and I used to be a dance major, so dancing is something I enjoy as well.
Very nice. Okay, do Scorpios and Libras get along typically?
We have.
Excellent. So. That's all we need to know. All right, so Timothy, let me start with you this time. Why did you choose Cal State Long Beach for your graduate program? What is your graduate program right now, and why did you choose it?
Yes, so I'm getting my master's in public administration. I'm actually graduating this May, so super excited about that. But I actually picked Long Beach because it was recommended to me by my previous supervisor, who got his master's at, I think it was Cal State Fullerton, but he's really close with the chair of the MPA department. So he advised me to come. I sat in on a class. I loved how it was an intimate lecture and how engaged students were and how much I learned just from sitting in that 30-minute session. So I decided to take that and pursue that.
So wait, MPA, what is that?
So the main focus of this program is we go over a lot of policies. So analyzing policies, implementing policies, but we also have a focus in negotiation and leadership. So a lot of my strengths can be utilized within HR roles, which is something I thought about doing, but now I'm pursuing either becoming an adjudicator or pursuing housing career opportunities as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, preliminary congrats on your graduation. So, Brianna, what is your focus of study and how did you choose Long Beach?
I am in the master's program for counseling and student development in higher ed. It's a 3-year program, so this is barely year 2, finishing it up, so I have 1 more year. But I was actually a transfer student, so I did 2 years of community college, and then I transferred to Cal State Long Beach. So I'm a double alumni, and so I just thought 2 years at Long Beach wasn't enough, so I decided to apply again to stay longer in grad school, and so I'm going to... at the end, when I graduate, I'll be 5 years in Long Beach. So it's been fun.
I love it. No, your journey is not unusual. A lot of people start at community college. That was my journey too. So where did you start at community college?
Awesome. Glad to find another fellow community college person. I went to Imperial Valley College, so it's really down south, El Centro, Calexico area. It's near Mexico, so it's really out there, yeah.
Got it. All right. But your journey, I love everyone's journeys. This is cool. So let's jump right into your job. What is so Brianna, I'll stay with you. What is a residential coordinator?
Well, we actually have a short video prepared to talk about the position.
All right. Let's look at it then. Take it away.
What is a residential coordinator? Residential coordinators, also known as RCs, are housing and residential life staff members that live in the community. RCs supervise and support resident assistants. RCs help RAs maintain safety in the community and serve as an important resource in on-call situations. RCs also listen to conduct cases. RCs will meet with residents who don't follow housing guidelines to get to the bottom of different situations. Another thing RCs do is perform administrative tasks. RCs manage a multitude of things, so staying organized is very important to the position. RCs hold office hours for students too. RCs love to connect with residents and support them through their college experiences. The biggest thing that RCs do, though, is be there to support everyone in housing. These are just some of the things that residential coordinators do in the community.
I'm just watching this with great interest because I'm thinking you are having such an impact on a student's overall experience, right? Overall college experience. Now, I didn't know, I'm just going to show my ignorance because I never lived on campus. Residential coordinators, you oversee the RAs, obviously. So you're dealing with the RAs and the student body and everything in between, right? Wow. Okay, that sounds like a lot. So, Timothy, could you elaborate more on the specifics from your vantage point of your position?
So you pretty much hit it on the nail. We to oversee the RAs as well as the student population. So we typically have our own buildings that we oversee. So in the past, I've oversaw our L and K building, and we help put on programs, facilitate that. If any of our students get into any conduct issues, we are the ones who typically see those cases. But we also have the opportunity to work on different committees. So this year I was on the social media committee, so I helped take part in that. So if you looked at any of our social media posts this semester, you may see a lot of my face around that.
Awesome. And what a lovely face you have. So Brianna, is it the same perspective? I know that we were talking a little bit during that package that, this seems perfect for your area of study, that you are really employing what you learn into practical experience. Would you say that's true?
Yeah, totally. Especially with supporting or supervising RAs. We don't do it just as like an employee or as the person we're supervising. We really do it in a holistic way. So really supporting them as a student and as a human as well. So it really ties into counseling as well.
Wow, what great leadership training, really, for life. So Brianna, I'm going to stay with you, and then I'm going to come back to Timothy. Tell us, because it sounds like you are juggling a lot to get all of this fit into a 24-hour day. What is a typical work and school day like for you?
Yeah, I love this question. It varies all the time, especially in housing, because we're on call, and so we have these situations that just come up randomly, right? But we do work part-time, so I usually do 4 to 5 hours of work time every day in the morning. And then the rest of the evening, I'm really juggling school assignments and readings. I'm also a part of a student organization that's a part of my program. It's called APSA. So I work on that when I have tasks to do for it. And I'm also currently working on a thesis proposal. So lots of stuff juggling around as a grad student and working paraprofessional.
No kidding. All right, Timothy, is it as Brianna said, there is no typical day, I guess, but how would you try to answer that question?
Yeah, pretty much everything Brianna said is similar to mine, except I'm not as organized with my time in working. I typically work in the night hours, so you can catch me doing a lot of email responding and getting things done at 10 p.m. till midnight. That's when I thrive. But for my classwork, I've learned that I am most successful during those hours as well, but I do all of my work a week ahead. So I'm always a week ahead when it comes to my schoolwork, just in case there's a situation that comes that requires a lot of my time, typically when a resident's in crisis or we have a big project coming up, just so I'm not falling behind on my schoolwork, because I have to maintain that 3.0 GPA to remain a student and keep my job here as well. So
wow, gotcha. You know what's interesting about that, my friend, is that because I immediately think, because I was never that student. You are so badass. I would not do things in advance. I was always very last minute. But what I love about your answer was that you do it in advance because you don't know what's coming around the bend and you want to make sure your schoolwork's done. Right? Is that fair?
Yes, very much so.
So let me ask you, Timothy, staying with you, how do you balance, or how do you balance work life and school life and maybe even catching a breath? How do you balance all that?
Well, before the pandemic, I did exceptionally well. I think I had the mentality of once I clocked out, I was literally clocked out. So I would go off campus, hang out with my friends, do social things in that regard, and just really de-stress and get away from the job because it can be so consuming if you let it be that way. During the pandemic, however, it's been a lot more challenging just because we've been more so alone and obviously social distancing and practicing those good practices. So I think for me, what's really happened is I've watched a lot of Netflix, and I think that has really kept me from doing work and school as much and just really focusing on my mental health and things that make me laugh and bring me joy. I focused on that. But I've always had the mentality of I know what's important. So my schoolwork always was my top priority, followed by my work. So never fail behind on anything. But I think it was important to at least differentiate those two and have those two different hats that I would wear on my day-to-day.
Right. I love, and Brianna, just tagging on what Timothy just said, as far as mental health is concerned, hasn't that been a big deal over this last year? So the same question to you, how do you balance all these different elements in your life?
Yeah, I think for us it's especially important to have a balance because we live where we work. So we definitely need like a physical separation. So something that I've picked up, kind of hopping onto the pandemic trend, is roller skating. I got a pair of skates and I've like learned how to roller skate. I've fallen a lot of times too, but that's part of the fun, right? Just learning and stuff. And so that has been really helpful. And then in terms of mental health too, I like being really transparent because I really believe in like being a part of destigmatizing mental health. So I go to therapy and that has been really helpful. And I encourage everyone to do that as well, which helps me relieve my problems so I can better support other people with their issues as well, I think. So, yeah.
Transparency. I've been, not that anybody's asking, but I've been in therapy for years as well. And at first there is a stigma until you realize, wait a minute, this is my life. And I get to borrow Timothy's phrase, mental health is worth me investing in, right? To keep me afloat so that I can do all the other things that I want to do. You guys, that's amazing answers. Thank you so much. So we're going to head for a quick break right now. But when we come back, we're going to continue our conversation with Brianna and Timothy about their position as residential coordinators. And then we're going to begin our discussion on one of Cal State Long Beach's 3 dorms. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
Take cam 2.
3, 2.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. And so let's get back into our conversation now. Brianna and Timothy, what is the dynamic like between you and your resident assistants and then the residents themselves? I mean, do you have a whip and a chair, or shock collars. Timothy, let's start with you. What is your relationship like with all these folks?
It definitely differs from RA to RA. I have some RAs who are very much so relationship driven. So we have spent lots of our one-on-ones just talking about personal life and not getting any work-related items done. But then you do have those RAs who are very work-oriented and just want to know exactly what to do, how to do it, get that structure, and they are free to go and do that. But for me, I typically have a relationship with my RAs, where they can come to me with any difficulties that they have, because I've been an RA myself, so I have an idea of what they could be experiencing. So I want to make sure I'm that support system for them. As far as residents, that one is a little bit trickier, just because a lot of the residents see me as a student conduct officer. So I'm just associated with, if you are seeing Timothy, it's going to be a negative experience. So I try to combat that by making sure during the conduct meetings I have a chance to get to know them on a one-on-one basis and really give them a chance to say who they really are. But for the most part, I would say my relationship with residents have been pretty positive.
I love this. And I think what you said, and I'm just going to bring this over to Brianna. So Timothy was alluding to the fact that not all RAs are the same, and you've got to be flexible in dealing with them as well as the other students that you deal with. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's just interesting because although we supervise the RAs, there's not much of a power difference. So we're very informal in the way we interact. Like Timothy said, like we'll have one-on-ones where we'll just talk about life and not really about work-related stuff. We could get to that later, but so the power difference is not there. So it makes it just a better environment to work in. People are actually excited to work together and do tasks and stuff. We actually used to watch The Bachelor together pre-COVID, and it was like such a fun thing. And we would do our homework during the commercials, and it was so fun. But with residents, that dynamic, unfortunately, is a little bit different because our interactions are where we have to hold them accountable to the actions or the policy violations, right? But we, try to go to the events that the RAs host so that we can be more friendly. And I also, even if I have a conduct case, when I see them out in the laundry room or in the dining hall, I say hi to them and chit chat, just so they know that that's not the only interaction I want to have with them, and that I don't think that particular experience is who I think they are. So, yeah.
I think that's really powerful, that you can make a mistake and then be redeemed, right? So it's not like you're not always going to be categorized as a horrible student. Wow. But someone's got to be in charge, and that's what you guys are. So what is your, Brianna, what is your favorite part about your job?
I really love my coworkers and my RAs. That is definitely my favorite part of the job. Living where you work is such a unique experience, and these are the only people in the world who understand that, who understand how it feels to have your coworkers as your neighbors and see each other in pajamas when you're doing your laundry and stuff like that. So that's definitely my favorite part. We get the work done, but we also have fun doing it. So it's just an awesome place to be at.
Cool. Timothy, same question. What's your favorite part of the job?
Yes, in addition to everything that Brianna said, I think for me, it's definitely that every day is not the same. So I got my bachelor's in hospitality and tourism. So I started in the hotel industry because I wanted a career that wasn't going to be the same thing every single day. So that's what I appreciate about housing, just because, we are doing different events, typically on a monthly basis. You never know what type of resident you're going to deal with, whether it's going to be a positive interaction or an interaction that's going to take a little bit of work to make sure you bring out the best of them. It's so different, and every year is different because you have new staff coming in, new talent, and it just gives you a chance to continue to grow as an individual and as well as a professional. So I really enjoy that. And you have lots of opportunities here. It's one of the few jobs I know that compensates you with housing. So not having to pay rent is a huge, huge perk.
No kidding. And it's life experience. Like you said, you take it into the hotel industry or whatever. So that leads me to this next question. So Timothy, how do you plan, or what plans do you have as far as taking what you've learned, the skill set that you've learned, and applying it to your future?
Yes, I think one of the biggest skills I've learned is problem solving, as well as just quick thinking, because you are typically in a situation at times where, you're presented with an issue and you don't have all the answers and information that you need to make an informative decision, but you need to make a decision. And I think it's prepared me to remain calm in those situations and make decisions based on what is best, based on the policies that we have implemented, as well as our missions and values as an institution. So I think that has carried over well with me. Currently, I've applied to many of jobs. A lot of the jobs I've applied to are in Georgia, however. But I've made it to the last round interviews, and I think it's a big testament to the training and knowledge I've gained working in this position that's really helped me hone my skills and really figure out what my strengths are and what things I can improve on.
Problem solving. I think there might be some use of that in the real world. I'm just guessing. Brianna, what do you think as far as like the skills you've learned and how you're planning on applying it to your future?
Yeah, I think for me, I started grad school really young. I'm the youngest person in my cohort. So I was the same age as my RAs. So there was a lot of like, I want them to like me, but I'm kind of their boss in a way. And so I've learned that it's really important to like put your values and your ethics in front of your perceived likability. And so for me, that's what I've learned, especially, so I guess it's more of a personal learning experience, but I think with ethics and value, that carries on to your professional life and what you want to do. And so I also want to continue working in housing after I graduate. So I think obviously when you're working with policies and you want students to grow while they're there in school, like ethics and values are still very important to help them learn and understand and develop their own version of that. So, yeah.
Yeah, because when we come to college, we're all exploring. We're not quite sure who we are. And so you guys are right on the front lines of that experience for students and for yourselves, right? So let's switch gears just a little bit and let's talk about one of the 3 dorms at Cal State Long Beach, Parkside College. By the way, I've heard Parkside is the best. I'm not sure, but no. I'm throwing it down to the other ones. Okay, so Brianna and Timothy, you both live at Parkside College. Brianna, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I agree. Parkside is the best. I've been here for 2 years and I love it. So it's just a really fun place to be at. I don't know, it's just like so calm in a way. Like we have these really nice like bright yellow tables outside, and so it's really nice to just sit when the weather's nice and the sun's out, and we see a bunch of squirrels and other little critters, and so it's just really nice. And so yeah, it's always good to grab some food and sit outside, enjoy the weather and the nice scenery, and I don't know, it's just super peaceful and very friendly. Yeah.
Gotcha. So Timothy, it must be extremely difficult to stay humble when you know Parkside is the best. So can you tell us what kind of student population makes up Parkside?
Yes. So we are predominantly freshmen. So we deal with a lot of the first years, a lot of students who are away from home for the first time. So that brings its own set of challenges. But I think what's amazing about Parkside is since everyone's new, everyone's experiencing college at the same time, you get this excitement and level of engagement that you normally wouldn't get at our upperclassmen residential halls. So I think that really helps our programming. It helps create an environment and community where everyone's super involved, happy. You see individuals outside at all night hours, my goodness.
Which are your hours, night hours. That's your hours.
That's when I thrive. So I am alive, awake, and alert during that time. But yeah, awesome. I wouldn't leave Parkside for anything, which shows since I've been here for the 2 years that I've been here.
Oh, I can sense your affection for Parkside and the students there. So it's time for us to take another break. When we come back, we will continue to talk with Brianna and Timothy about Parkside College. So we will see you in just a few seconds.
Ready, cam two, take cam two.
3, 2.
Hi again, everyone. Welcome back. So let's jump back in. So Brianna and Timothy, what are some of the specific amenities, Brianna, I'll start with you, Parkside has to offer its residents?
Yeah, so we actually have another short video that covers some of that information.
Awesome. Let's watch that.
Let's take a closer look at Parkside. Parkside is located on the northwestern portion of campus on Earl Warren Drive. This residential college has 9 halls to house first-year students. It also has different amenities for residents like a service center for questions and mail service, as well as a dining hall. There is also a large communal laundry room for residents to do their laundry. This is the basic floor plan of a building, and there are 7 rooms to 1 bathroom. The rooms each house 2 residents. The bathrooms have 2 toilets, 2 showers, and 3 sinks. In each room, there is a micro fridge for the residents to share, a bed with underspace storage, a tall closet, and a desk and chair for each resident. Parkside has so much to offer its residents, and it's up to you to make the most of your experience.
I love that because, yes, it is up to you, dear students, to make the most out of your experience. So Parkside sounds so fun because of you guys, and it sounds like it has a lot to offer. Timothy, what do you believe makes Parkside, and I'm kind of messing with the other dorms, but what do you think it stands out, why it stands out in comparison to Hillside and Beachside?
Ooh.
Did I get you in trouble?
Without trying to put the other 2 buildings down, but Parkside is definitely where it's at. I think what really makes it stand out for me is, I think it's just for me, the environment itself. I think that being in a community, again, where you have so many individuals and RAs who are so excited and trying to get you engaged, and you're meeting people for the first time, and you're away from home for the first time, and you're on your own, you're trying to figure things out. I just think that brings a level of excitement and opportunities that aren't normally present in the other buildings. But I think overall for me, again, not to put the other buildings down, but I really, really enjoy the dining that we have in Parkside compared to Hillside and Beachside. I think definitely top tier. So if you are looking for a dining experience, Parkside is where it's at.
Parkside's where it's at. So, Brianna, do you have any advice for those who might want, or considering watching this, might want to live on campus in the future?
Yeah, my advice is 100% do it. I didn't have the opportunity to live on campus as a student. As I mentioned earlier, I was a transfer student, but I really wish I did. It looks like such a fun experience, and I have so much fun just working here. So I can't imagine how much fun residents have meeting their best friends for life and building really awesome connections with their RAs and other residents, and meeting people from literally all over the world. Everyone should do it, I think.
Yeah, and I've heard that Parkside every Friday has a massive food fight. Is that right? I think I got that wrong. But I'll tell you what, Parkside does sound amazing because of you two. So that's all the time we have for today. But I got to thank our special guests, Brianna Guzman and Timothy Ibrahim, for joining us this evening. You guys are so fun. And so thank you for taking the time out to share your experiences with us.
Yes, thank you for having me. It's been
You
super
bet.
fun.
All right. So thank you, dear audience, for watching Beach Variety, Life at the Beach. I'm Jefferson Denham.